Hello everyone and welcome to Season 5 of Crave Arts Presents The Future of Film, featuring intimate interviews with the best emerging filmmakers from around the world. My name is Tom Oliva and I am co-founder and executive director of Crave Arts and the All-American High School Film Festival, dedicated to discovering, showcasing, and uniting the next generation of visual storytellers and content creators. In October of 2024, we celebrated our 12th annual festival. 12 years in, and our community is thriving, a testament to the power of believing in the arts and the emerging artists that share their stories with us. The collective spirit of our organization, our community, and all of our year-round initiatives is rooted in a shared passion. A passion to breathe life into stories, to collaborate with others who share your vision, and to create content at the highest level. Content with the ability to move viewers emotionally, to inspire with unprecedented style and craft, and to impact real change. Some quick updates from the All-American Bulletin Board as we gear up for our 13th annual festival in New York City. We're busy preparing for our 2025 festival, which will take place this October 17th to 19th in New York City, and submissions are open via Film Freeway with the final deadline on July 30th. Head over to hsfilmfest.com to get the latest news and updates about the 2025 festival. You can save on early bird tickets, book your discounted hotel rooms at the Hilton Midtown Hotel, and check out our downloadable 2025 budget guide, planning guides, and posters. It's never too early to begin planning your all-American adventure. If you plan on attending the festival in New York City, we highly recommend competing in one of our film invitational competitions, the world's premier on-site student filmmaking competitions in New York City from October 15th to 17th. We offer a variety of real-world, authentic production experiences for student filmmakers and video production programs. Your chance to crew up and produce a short film in just 10 weeks. Registration opens in May. For anyone looking for new gear, be sure to visit our Preferred Partners discount page under the Resources tab on our website to check out awesome discounts on a variety of gear and software. And teachers, if you're looking for a great way to boost your curriculum and elevate and inspire your students, check out our video production resource community and roadshow. 2 terrific in-person or remote opportunities featuring lesson plans and interactive presentations based on our library of exemplary student films. More information can be found at hsfilmfest.com under our Education tab. Today's guest, Ella Janes from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, is an alumni from 2022 to 2024, with a 3-year run of submissions that all received recognition at our Teen Indie Award Show. Her films, The First 280 Honest Words of My Life, 2022, The Derivative Outlook on Love from the Perspective of Two 16-Year-Olds, 2023, Prom Dress MXM Tune Music Video, 2023, and Happiness in the Palm of Her Hand, 2024, received nominations for our Emerging Talent Award, Maverick Award, Female Rising Star Award, Best Overall Film, Best Drama, Best Screenplay, Best Direction, and she won Teen Indie Awards for Best Experimental Film, Best Editing, and Best MXM Tune Music Video. So to say that she enjoyed success with our festival would be an understatement. So what made Ella's films stand out across such a broad range of award categories? Simply put, her unique ability to merge style and story. Through Ella's lens, we are offered unique and poignant glimpses into characters that are raw, honest, exposed, vulnerable, quirky, and perhaps most importantly, utterly human, but elevated through her keen eye for provocative imagery, influential edits, stylized set designs, unconventional structure, and ultimately, a brave creative spirit that invites delightful engagement. Ella is clearly a writer first. Her narratives are informed by personal experience, but her characters take on a larger, more universal existence, one that evokes identification and immersion. They feel so real, so authentic, and so defined. These are people we know or yearn to know. People we feel for because we experience their peaks and valleys. People we feel for because their entire worlds are captured in profound moments of growth, decline, desperation, and ultimately evolution. In her own words from the script of her first submission, The First 280 Honest Words of My Life, quote, "If I were to say who my favorite character was in any given story, I think I would say the one least boring." And that's just what Ella does. Film after film, she illuminates ordinary characters to extraordinary heights. It's only fitting that this film, our introduction to Ella's considerable talents, is about a writer sitting down at a typewriter eager to pour her heart out. That's just who Ella is. Her character is a manifestation of herself, of her view of how things are and can be. A writer first for sure, but a writer who also has the ability to evoke a sense of huge worlds utilizing the elements of film. In her 2023 film, The Derivative Outlook on Love from the Perspective of Two 16-Year-Olds, she explores what love is supposed to look like through the lens of frustration and disapproval. Quote, "Why do characters in movies suck at loving? I guess that would make it boring. No one wants to watch a movie that's boring." And this is such an apt description for Ella's filmography. It is definitely anything but boring. It is always a provocative marriage of style and story. Her narratives seem to float by and race by all at once. They are ripe with the contrasts that define life. Dreamy and raw, sped up and slowed down, noisy and quiet, intimate and elevated, and always enhanced by captivating performances from the actors. She's a natural talent of boundless potential, and we are grateful to be invited into her unique worlds. I am super excited to be joined by Ella Janes today. Hey, Ella, welcome. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you so much. That intro was insane. I started tearing up. I feel like, yeah, that was incredible. I think I need to work on shortening my titles. But
I was actually running out of breath. If anyone wants to rewatch it, and there's not video over me talking. Hey, there's nothing wrong with a long title. You keep doing you.
Thank you.
And it's absolutely my pleasure to comment on your work and to provide that introduction. It is so well deserved. We're going to get the conversation started with a little thing. It's our new segment we have called This or That. In this quick reply exercise, I'm just going to provide two options, and you share which one you prefer.
Okay.
All right, here we go. You ready?
Yes, yeah.
Let's do it. Pizza or pasta?
Pizza, for sure.
Fruits or veggies?
Veggies.
Good for you.
Thank you. My parents
Coffee?
trained me well.
Yeah, see? That's great. I hope that they listen to this. They'll be very proud. Now, this one, maybe not. Coffee or energy drink?
Energy drink.
Sneakers or shoes?
Shoes.
Ocean or lake?
Ocean.
City or country?
Oh God. Country.
Okay, countryside. All right.
Yeah.
Lo-fi or high tech?
Lo-fi.
I knew it.
Yep.
Wide angle or close up?
Wide angle.
I knew it again.
Thank you.
Experimental or realism?
Oh
You're
my-
both.
Wait.
I knew I would trip you up with
Yeah,
that
I
one.
don't think I can pick one.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. That was a trick question.
Okay, thank you.
Possibly the same here, not intentional though. Drama or comedy?
You know what? I'm gonna say comedy. All
right. Well,
Switch
we're
things
gonna have
up.
to dive deep into that. And
Okay.
finally, film school or DIY?
I go to film school, so I'll say film school.
Okay. Your professors aren't necessarily listening, but
Right,
I
true.
think that's a good answer, and I definitely want to dive into that. So let's do it. Let's dive into
Okay.
all things Ella Janes. So wonderful to reconnect with you. Let's just start with where you are right now and what you're up to as it relates to film.
Yeah, so I'm here in sunny Southern California at USC SCA Film School. It's amazing. I love it so much. I wake up every morning pinching myself. It's a dream come true. But I had no idea, going into everything, I had no idea I wanted to go to college at all. I thought that DIY was my way. Just because you don't need film school. I don't think you need it at all. But I shot my shot and submitted applications because I wanted to keep all the doors open, make a decision, when it came down to it. And then, USC they ended up giving me a pretty big scholarship, and it was there was no question about it. So if
You
I
had
can
to give it a
recommend,
shot.
yeah, if I can recommend USC to anyone, there's so many amazing opportunities here. It's just and incredible people. I'm just surrounded by a cohort of 50 filmmakers all here top, top level, like making really authentic, cool stories. So
I'm sure that we probably know many of them from All American.
for sure. Yeah.
And I hope that those, that helps form those relationships. How many schools did you apply to?
I applied to 10.
Wow.
But I only applied to 2 film schools.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the other option? Like, if you weren't going to go to film school, what were you applying for?
I was applying for English literature because I thought that...
Former English major, right?
Wait,
here.
yeah, exactly. So, like, learning to tell a story, I feel like is such a, like, pivotal, part of filmmaking. So I figured studying it would be a great option for me. And I like to consider myself very academic. So I, thought that was the right move. Ended up not being what I was going to do. But, yeah, if I could recommend anything else, English lit.
Very fair and obviously relatable, and you're going to be studying that as you study film. There's a certain parallel there for sure. I'm glad I called you a writer first. Now that feels like it was the right move.
Yes, thank you.
It's pretty obvious.
I try to stay writing. It's hard. I mean, in 280 I talk about it, but writing's hard.
So you're in your second semester as a freshman?
Yes, yeah, second semester.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And I want to hear about, because so many of our listeners are on the precipice of where you are right now and what you're doing. And obviously you're living the dream, and I can tell you're grateful for it and not taking it for granted. And that's who you are. I want to talk about that, like what it's like day to day, literally like, and how terrifying it is and how exciting it is and all of that. But first question is, you're from Oklahoma City, and that's kind of out of the way place. I've been there, so I know how awesome it is.
Oh, great.
Actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I spent like 2 days there for like a roadshow thing, and I absolutely love the small cities in America. I think they have so much to offer, and they've come so far. And your basketball team is incredibly good
incredible.
right now,
oh my gosh,
which is amazing. And I love when the small market teams have their moment. But what were the unique challenges of being from a small? Even though it's a city, it's a small town.
It's
city.
small.
Yeah. Like, what was it like? Kind of saying, "All right, I'm going now to the heart of filmmaking. I'm going to USC from Oklahoma City."
I feel like it didn't feel real ever. Like, it was just coming to LA was kind of just something in my future always. And so when it finally happened and I got on the plane, that's when I was like, oh wait, okay, this is actually happening. I think a big thing for me in settling into the move and leaving my city, my small city, was just taking the whole summer to really really feel it. I started doing DoorDash over the summer because I was I want to see the city more. I want to drive around. I want to see these random people who are ordering DoorDash, Chick-fil-A on 11 a.m. on a Thursday, Mm-hmm. And so I think that, that was my only real feeling towards it was immense nostalgia. I just felt that. And then I didn't feel scared for LA. I knew I was going to be here eventually, I feel so, yeah.
Well, then maybe I should just quickly pivot to the elephant in the room and what's going on there right now. Speaking of being scared, how has it been?
It's been an interesting process. The fires have been, terrifying.
Are you safe where you are? Are you impacted? I know you're impacted. Everyone is.
Yeah, it's not around South Central Los Angeles where USC is. It's more up in the mountains. It's over at Malibu and Altadena and stuff. So it hasn't. Yeah, we can smell the smoke on the first day that it happened. Everything, there was ash everywhere. It was really crazy. It was almost like Blade Runner 2049. It was orange. It was insane. But yeah, fortunately enough, I haven't been directly impacted. Some of my family members that I have out here have been, and then lots of friends. But honestly, I feel it's brought the LA community together a little bit more. You know, we have this like massive charity like music festival that they've thrown together that people are flying out for and paying thousands of dollars for. Tried to get a ticket, but no. So yeah, I think it's really brought the LA community together.
That's good, and I'm certainly happy to hear that you're safe, and you know, all the best to your family and just getting through it. And everyone, I'm going to be wearing my LA hat, I think, for every episode this season, just in solidarity. But the resiliency is great to hear, because I think LA has a mixed perception with people who are not from there and not part of it every day, and I think people are going to get to see the wonderful spirit that the city has. So
I agree.
You know, and just lock all of that in to your storytelling thing, right? I mean, just the colors, the sensory things, the emotional reactions, you know, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's go back to USC. So you go there on a plane by yourself?
No, I was with my dad.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't know. Like, I have two high schoolers. I would want to come just to
just to see it. He'd never even been to USC, so yeah, he was excited.
Okay. And you arrive, and just what is it like? What are the first things you do as are you a film major?
Yes, I'm film production.
Okay. What do you do? Like, what happens?
Like day to day, like classes.
Yeah.
It's like the first semester, well, okay, so this is what everyone's going to say about film school, is that you don't get into anything really until junior year. The amazing thing about SCA at USC is that they have so many productions going on all the time, and such a great like community that they've built, that you can be on set every weekend. And it can get a little overwhelming, but you make connections, you know, go on, and I learned that I love being a second AC. Like, who would have thought that? But I loved it. And so, yeah. And then the graduate school is like super involved too, and you can crew on a lot of graduate film projects, which is, you know, really, really insane, because those are pretty professional level. Yeah. And so it's just, that's like the main film part. Right now, classes day to day is a lot of just general education, which I'm a big proponent for. I think learn as much as you can. You know, I am taking a political science class right now that I'm learning about things I never have ever even thought about, and that's pretty incredible. And then, yeah, it's lots of, you know, right now watching movies, and then we got in our first production class this second semester, where we're now starting to make it, and we just start with our iPhone. They don't let us use any equipment this semester, so yeah.
Keep it simple. Yeah.
Keep it simple, yeah. Tell a story, you know, with this little equipment. You can add that on later, yeah.
I love it. Is there a particular filmmaker or film that stands out from your film studies initially at the school? Someone that maybe you discovered?
Yeah, ooh, that's a good question. I feel like I've really gotten more, I have to think about this one.
That's fair. Were you a student of cinema before you went there? Were you someone who watched a lot of movies, like from a lot of different time periods and styles?
Yeah, I was an international baccalaureate student at the high school I went to. So basically what that means is like they teach you all things international. And I was in a film class there. So I was a bit of a film student before. But I feel like I have to have had something that maybe I'll get back to that.
I will come back to it.
Yeah.
That's my job. So you mentioned working on a projects on the weekends and things, and it maybe being a little bit overwhelming. I imagine like learning to balance that and know like what your workload can be, so that, you know, you have a healthy balance of things, but also at the same time, I can sense with your personality, and I've seen your output of work, you want to do everything you possibly can. Was there a particular project that stood out to you? I want to know that. And also, second question, why did you love being a second AC so much?
Yeah. I mean, okay, so the one that stood out to me, I was a second AC for. It stood out to me not necessarily because of the story, or, you know, it was a, like, noir 50s period piece in a diner. Like, that's not my vibe. But the community and the crew base that they had built. Like, they interviewed everyone for the positions. They, like, it was a graduate level film, and they really just, like, it was a family, and I really liked that. That's how I like to run my own sets. And so I think I learned a lot about that. And then I loved second ACing because I don't love cameras. I don't love technology. So I loved learning about it, and I grew to love it. And I feel like now I really know how a camera works, and how to build a camera, and how to, clean a lens, and, all that stuff.
Please tell our community to clean the lens. There have been so many quality submissions that come through, and as Chris will say, you got to clean the gate, and it's like, how do you go through all this work and miss that smudge?
And miss that. Well, you didn't have a second AC.
They didn't have you, and that's so awesome that maybe you just never had the right exposure to it, and now you found something that you really love, and you're not going to probably become a DP, but maybe you have a new appreciation for it and how to work with the people that are shooting your stuff.
Yeah, and now I feel like I know the language more, so I can talk. I knew, like, lenses, like, that was, like, the best of my knowledge, but I feel like now I can, like, sit down with my DP and, like, really get into the shot list. Like, I can, tell him exactly what I want. Yeah.
Well, I can tell that you have an awesome enthusiasm for being there. Is there something in particular that you're looking forward to doing or experiencing throughout your tenure at USC?
Yeah, I think one of my big things about college is you come to learn, but you also come to experience life and people and make stories that, you're going to want to tell. Because being a filmmaker, in my head, is all about your own experience, your authenticity, and, like, really, your perspective. Mm-hmm. And so I think I'm just excited to make memories. Like, that's, like, my main goal. When I, like, came to USC the first week, I, like, had a really crazy crash out, and I, like, thought, I made the wrong decision. Film school wasn't for me. Like, this is, I can go and figure it out myself. And then I, like, sat down and I journaled, which is something I do a lot. And I sat down, and it's right here. And I made this little poster for my wall that outlines 3 goals for myself throughout USC. And it's aesthetic, environment, and sustainability. And so that goes with, like, my own life, but also my filmmaking style. And so I want to, figure out my aesthetic more, really nail it down. I want to learn how to create a healthy and safe environment for myself and for everyone I work with. And then sustainability, I need to figure out how to make my films feature length, because I don't know what I'm going to do, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, you have time. It's so important that you share that kind of perspective. I'm sorry that you crashed out, but sometimes those low points lead to the most fulfilling times of your life, and you needed that to sort of organize your thoughts, and I think it's really important for our community to hear. I certainly want to keep in touch, throughout your experiences there. I think you just have so much to offer, and I really hope that it's a great home for you. I want to, like, go all the way back now and start at the beginning. I think it's safe to say, from my understanding of your creative output, you've always been a filmmaker. It just maybe took you a while to put a camera in your hand and start hitting record and then editing it all together. I feel like you've always seen the world this way. I don't know if I'm right, but when did you first actually start making movies, and why did you do it?
Okay, this is, like, one of my favorite stories to tell. So I used to, when I was 6 years old, I would go to bed every night with high heels on and a dress and my hair curled, because I thought Peter Pan was going to come and take me to Neverland. Like,
hey, you never know.
You never know. Like, he could still come, Like, I'm not growing up. And so then I decided that I wanted to put on a play and direct and act in the play. And one singular person showed up for the play. Mind you, the cast was supposed to be like 10 people. Only one person came to act in it. I was so mad. And so I decided, when I was 7, I decided that, movies were cooler and people would show up for movies opposed to a play. If you put a camera, people always look at the camera when they're walking down the street, and yeah, it's cool. So I decided to direct the first episode of H2O Just Add Water, shot for shot, line for line, in 7th grade. Or not 7th grade, when I was 7.
7.
Mm-hmm. And I brought all my friends, came together, and we did it. And then I posted it on YouTube, and it got 2.8 million views.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And you were like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, so wait, maybe I'm like good at this. Like, maybe I should really take time and really invest in films. And so then I did. I started just making like fun little spoofs, as like most kids do, I feel like. But I just like really knew this was it. I started making like Harry Potter stuff. It was like a whole phase. But then I ended up somehow getting picked up by an advertisement agency that represented Gen Z directors. And I started directing commercials, and I was like getting paid for it. And I was like
12?
12, yeah. And that was pretty insane. And then I directed my first short film, which was called Code Red. And it was about women in prison in Oklahoma and how it has the highest incarceration rate for women in the world. And I directed it from the lens of a daughter getting her first period.
So it wasn't a doc. This was a narrative.
No, it was a narrative, yeah.
Okay.
And she got her first period, and her mom was away in prison. And then I started submitting it to film festivals, and then, got addicted to film festivals. And made 280 over COVID. It was like our crew was all shown in that like final shot. Mm-hmm. It's like 4 of us. And and then I just like kept making. I met Julian, who's been through All American 2, and he was like a really big collaborator with me for a while. And and I just made some like cool things. I just felt like I just wanted everything I made to be really authentic and really me. And yeah.
So first of all, that's amazing.
Thank you.
And you've had a great run of luck, but of course, someone who has done this as long as I have knows that it's not luck. It's hard work.
Thank you.
It's work ethic. It's motivation. Talent obviously plays a huge role, but you have to be willing to do the stuff that most people don't want to do.
Right.
And you've been doing that since 7th grade, which is crazy. How has your process evolved like over the years? Like did the advertising work and doing commercials and things, did that help form your voice, or how have you evolved? No. And how have things changed, or has it always kind of been that same little kid behind the camera or writing?
Yeah, I think so during COVID, I like did a deep dive into story structure, and I like broke down some of my favorite movies, like Good Will Hunting. I did it minute for minute and broke down like all the different acts. And...
I'm noticing a trend here with that, which by the way, we highly recommend our community does that. Like watch our best films and try to recreate them, or at least recreate them in like what it took to produce.
Yes.
Because it's such a valuable skill. And then when you have your own story, you kind of follow those steps and learn and
exactly.
grow. Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt, but
that's
great.
Exactly. Yeah. That's like my one advice. Yeah. So I really feel like then, after COVID, I like figured out story structure, and then I got to play more, if that makes sense. Like I feel like before then I was very regimented, is that the word?
Yeah.
Into like making sure I hit beats and making sure I like made something palatable. And so that was the same for the ads too. And that was also like a weird dynamic. Like I was fully like 12 years old directing like grown adults, and you know there was like some insecurities on my behalf.
Like a imposter syndrome kind of thing?
Yeah,
Even though you didn't know what that was at the time?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. I just felt weird.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so then I think COVID, like, once I, like, really felt like I knew film and I knew, yeah, I started, like, watching just cool movies. Like, that was the first time I watched, like, Amelie. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, movies can be, like, different. Like, I love that. And so then I just started, then I just, like, played and took inspiration from some of my favorite movies and just ran with it.
And, you know, it's crazy because I'm fortunate to have seen, you know, a lot of your stuff that you submitted over the years, and I see that maturation. I see 280 as a lot of beats and very little room to breathe and atmosphere, even though it's got all the good quirky stuff and, you know, it has its own atmosphere, but not the kind that it sounds like you've learned to tap into. And then, you know, you look at something like Happiness in the Palm of Her Hand and Palm of Her Hand? Your hand? Yeah. And it's so much more of that, you know, and even Derivative it has so much more of that, and it's much more moody. And I think that's like where you're going, and it's cool to kind of hear like how that emerged.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Why do you like to do this? Like, you were 7 years old and okay, you caught the bug, but that's not why you're still doing it.
I think it's like a balance between like me I love community and I love bringing people together. So being on set is my favorite thing ever. It's like a drug. Like, I love it. And then I think it's also, I feel like a lot of women filmmakers don't necessarily get to tell their authentic stories. Like, there's a platform for women filmmakers now, and I do believe that there's, you know, a lot of opportunities for women filmmakers out there. I think a lot of them are just like pushed into this male audience genre.
Aesthetic.
Yeah. So I feel like that I just want to be like, have my feminine touch and like really share it and inspire others and like create really just thoughtful films. Like, I love thoughtful filmmaking so much and I want to see it more. Just like things you come away from and you just really like think about it. Like, one of the essays I wrote for USC was about how, no one can steal this, by the way, they'll remember, but I wrote about how like my dream is to, like, my goal in life is to make two people in a movie theater hold hands while they're watching my movie. Like, I love the idea of like bringing people together, or like someone calling their mom after like seeing Happiness, like something like that is like really what I don't know, it's like little things. I just want little things to happen from my movies.
Yeah, you want to leave a distinct feeling. That's something that we preach. It's so hard for emerging filmmakers, for young filmmakers to understand that.
Yeah.
And to have that as a goal. But I mean, that's the movies that resonate with me are the ones where I'm changed after it. Like, there's this like hole inside of me that the movie made. And I do want to call my mom or something like that. I absolutely love that. And you're clearly on your way towards that. And look, I'm a male. I watch all of these films. Your movies really impact me.
Thank you.
And I think they do impact me because of their femininity. And I think that's really cool. I want to see into that. I don't understand that, and it's not part of what comes out of me. So I treasure being invited into a world where I get that kind of perspective and something so unique to your experience that's totally outside of what my life is like, you know? And it doesn't mean I can't appreciate it, and I do, and I love that. And it is getting better. I remember, you know, probably 5 years ago when we came up with the Female Rising Star Award, which, I mean, I don't even know if we need it anymore, but we're going to keep it because I just like recognizing those voices. But it was like 5% of, you know, directors for major Hollywood movies. And I was just reading American Cinematographer or something, and it was like, it's 12% now. And we're getting there, but keep fighting the good fight, Ella.
Yeah,
You're a great torchbearer for that.
Thanks.
So all of these positive things and well deserved. What were some of the challenges you faced when you were making some of these films that people can check out that you submitted to All American? What were maybe the biggest challenges you faced in trying to get your work out there?
The editing. I know, like you said, we won an award for best editing, but the editing process is a lot for me. I like to take a lot of space after I shoot something. So like 4 months I won't look at it. And then I go, which is like kind of crazy. Like I know a lot of people that are like, I got to get right into
right to it. Yeah.
Yeah. But something about it, like I just need to breathe and look at it from a new lens. So I feel like that's always a little challenging for me. Post-production just in general.
Mm-hmm. Do you have the edit in mind when you're shooting? And you're talking about obviously projects where you were probably doing just about everything, because that's the reality for a young filmmaker. But did you, when you're shooting and when you're writing, do you see it? Do you kind of know what it is, even though you still need to take time?
Yes, yeah. Like I feel like I definitely, and even when I'm writing the script, like I'll know the shots, I'll know the editing, I'll know it's just kind of like all comes together, for some reason.
And I interrupted you and you had something else you wanted to say about
No,
challenges. But
I
what are you
forgot.
most proud of?
Like, which
As far
film?
as maybe which film? Is there one? Because I don't know. For me, it's like I see the first one come in, right? And it's like, oh my God, we have a real talent here, right? And so then it's like you're kind of like attached to that film. And then we have the wonderful opportunity to watch our filmmakers mature, which happens at an incredible pace during those years, right? Like the way that you grew in those 3 or 4 years compared to the way you're going to grow. Well, you're probably going to grow a lot because you're going to see it. But you know what I mean? You really see it. It's like, holy moly, like she was good at this and now she's good at all of this on top of that. I'm just curious, which film are you really most proud of, and is there a specific reason?
I think probably Happiness in the Palm of Her Hand. It's because it's a very authentic story to me and my mom. Everything in that film is true, and so it just, like, being able to, that film really brought me and my mom closer together because I spent a lot of time asking her questions and really digging into her history. And so, like, I'd say the relationship I have with my mom now is because of that film, and for that reason I'm incredibly proud of it.
So a piece of art that you created was like almost healing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then I feel like, I mean, that one was the one that got me into USC and got me where I am now. So I have to, really feel that gratitude for that film. And I just think, but usually I feel like, hot take, 16, The Derivative Outlook on Love from the Perspective of Two 16-Year-Olds is really the only film I've made that is exactly how I thought it was going to turn out, if that makes sense.
How? What do you mean?
I don't know. Something about it. I think we didn't cut anything out of the script in the edit room. So for Happiness, the original length of the film was 10 minutes.
And so it's shorter, right? Yeah.
It's 5 now. Yeah. So I cut half of that whole thing.
Okay.
16, I think, is the only one I didn't do that. And so that one's the one that I'm like, I see that, like, I see you, like, you're exactly what I thought you were going to be.
And it's like this spontaneous, like, flow of events.
Yeah. It's like poetry.
Even though time overlaps, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the moods you create. I'm a huge tone person, and somehow you manage to do it, even though your films are a little bit telly, at least the young ones, they're not, because you infuse them with tone and atmosphere, and so it's like this. It all works together in a way that probably shouldn't and wouldn't in lesser hands, but
thank you.
You make it work, and there you really do create that feeling that you're trying to get, and that is your goal. I think you're already kind of there. I know you have a long way to go and a lot more power to unleash.
Thank you.
Do you have specific influences? I know I asked this earlier, so I'm coming back to it, that help inform your style and motivation as a storyteller? You're quite unique.
Thanks.
It's a rare case of, like, you clearly have styles that you're imitating, and everyone does, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you sort of seem singular, and that's really hard, especially during your high school years and the work that I've seen from you. What influences that? Is it filmmakers, specific films, life?
Yeah, I feel like it's just a lot of feeling. It's a lot of feeling. I think I don't know. It's just like intuition kind of. But I do have I take a lot of inspiration from people. So like I love Sofia Coppola. I have Lost in Translation up here, BTS photo. I love Noah Baumbach is my favorite director. Like Frances Ha's my favorite movie ever. But I think I don't know. I feel like a lot of it is just feeling. It's a experience I'm trying to recreate, if that makes sense. Like I with this the last film I directed in August right before I moved out here. I wanted it all to feel like how Oklahoma feels when it's like 110 degrees outside. Like that was like my biggest, like anytime I saw the shot, I was like, does this feel like 110 degrees? And I think it, in like a weird way, in like a nostalgic way, it does. I think that's actually a big inspiration. Yeah, is nostalgia in general.
And that's what you're trying to capture is like 110 degrees to you is home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What is your process like? Like where do you, let's just go to the film about your mom and your relationship with your mom. We'll use that as an example if it makes it easier. If not, go any direction you want. But where do you start? You like, okay, I want to make a film about my mom. Like we had some tough challenges and I want to get, share this with the world or just get it out of myself or whatever. Tell me about that process for you.
Yeah, so it started same as 280, which is so strange, but I started with a short story that I wrote to submit somewhere. And I just like kind of wrote it in a flow state, not really knowing much about my mom's history. Just like the little bits about like my dad and her and like her getting pregnant with me before they were married, like stuff like that. And then, wait, I'm like totally airing out my mom. It's fine. It's fine. And then I kind of just, I just decided like to sit down and write it into a script. And I did it in one night. And that's how I usually write, is like one night. And then I take a break from it for like 2 weeks. And I look back at it then and I really edit it. And then
and all this time as you're writing, I'm always curious about this. Are you seeing it as a film?
Yes. 100%.
You're hearing the music. You're like, okay, this is going to be the editing sequence, kind of this vibe. Yeah.
Exactly. But I don't write like shots or anything into my script because I really do value working with my cinematographer. Like that is something.
That's their business.
Yes. Yeah. I think like I am a shot director, if that makes sense. Like I do very much control everything in the shot and like how it looks, but I value their input and a fresh eyes to the script, to really get ideas churning. So then I sit down with the cinematographer and we'll shot list kind of straight away, like almost first read, second read of the script together. And then I crew up, which is usually I like to work with the same people.
Although that's all going to change now. Your network is growing, but yes.
I know. But there's tips and tricks. We did I'm shooting something in February and we did a pre little mixer for the cast and crew. So everyone knows each other. So now it's okay. Like it feels like I'm working with my family again. And then I'll just kind of go into production. I like to usually do it pretty fast, not a lot of pre-production, but that's something I'm trying to work on. And then on set, it's just like, I don't know, set just like clicks. Like I just like really
I want
feel
to, yeah,
honed.
I feel like that's like we have to, even though you're very good at answering questions, by the way. Like we're
Oh,
like
thank you.
flying through this, and you're like saying things that I was going to ask. But this whole familial on set thing,
Yeah.
this like addiction that you have, why? What is it about that? Is it just like it's like being a member of a sports team that's all clicking and like I don't know. How can we articulate what you love about that so much to our listeners who want to try to achieve that? Like what
Yeah.
makes it work for you? Is it communication? Is it team building? You know, what are those things that are the essential pieces so that you can have this place that is your holy land?
Yeah. I think the biggest things is like I'm a proponent of knowing your crew before you step on set. So knowing everyone as a director, you should know everyone's names. I feel like in high school that's totally fine because you're working
Sure.
with your friends
Your
anyway.
friends, yeah.
But and then I'd also say if you're working with your friends, branch out. Like try. I feel like friendships. I experienced this. I was in a relationship with my cinematographer for like 3 years, and it just kind of can get very messy. And so I think finding other people that are just as passionate about it as you, doing Instagram crew calls, like that was everyone in high school knew that that's the only time I used Instagram was for my crew calls. And I think that you know, that made me meet some of the people that I know I'm going to work with forever. And then I'd say actually on set, I love playing music. Like in between scenes when they're setting up or like, you know, anything, just right in the morning when cast is going through HMU and wardrobe, like
You've got a song and you're like, this is the mood. Like,
yes, I'll have
yeah.
my playlist that I made for the film and I'll just be playing it. Probably a little too loud. The neighbors usually don't like it, but it's okay. And then I think other than that, I would just say like casual communication. Like it doesn't need to be all like Zoom meetings. Like it can be like a little text, a phone call, like just checking in, like have you had any ideas on like this or, you know, stuff like that. But I like to keep it casual. But also I think it's important to, you know, let your crew know that they're kind of here to put their best foot forward. Like make it known that you yourself are pouring everything into this, so they should meet that expectation. And then if they don't, sitting them down and telling them that they're not, you know, cutting it right now. So yeah, I think and I don't like complainers on set. Like that's my biggest, if you complain on my set, like you're out, like you're not coming back tomorrow. I'm sorry. Like that's just, I feel like you can make a film all by yourself. And I don't know. That sounds like kind of
Just
egotistical.
be solution oriented. That's all
Yeah.
you're saying. You're not saying like it's your way or the highway. You're saying rather than gripe about something, which is going to get us nowhere
Yeah.
and it's going to be toxic, you know, let's be solution oriented. Hey, I don't think this is working, but right?
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Exactly.
And it sounds like a natural storyteller and also a natural leader, and I'm sure that the people you work with really appreciate that. And it is a careful balance, right? Like you can only be so nice for so long, kind of thing. But what you're really talking about is communication from the very beginning throughout the process, and keeping those lines open. It's inspiring. It's also really mature that you
Thank
already
you.
understand that. I still have a hard time with that sometimes, you know, because you get caught up in things and
Yeah.
you get busy. And then when it's time to communicate with our interns or our team, it's like, well, let's just get to it. It's like, well, that's not really how this
Right.
works.
Yeah.
And you have
Yep.
to be able to step outside of yourself in the moment. And it's hard, and it's awesome that
Yeah.
you already, you know, kind of have that.
Thank you.
A couple more questions. Do you see your style changing, or do you think you're going to make movies like this forever? I think you're going to make movies forever. I think that goes
Thank
without
you.
saying.
Yeah. I hope so.
Do you see any sort of evolution, or are there things you want to try maybe that don't? Because your style is pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to change that much. I think I will have to figure out how to make it long form feature film length. So that's my first goal, and that will definitely come with changes. I have narration throughout a whole film. Unfortunately, a whole 90-minute movie, that would be a little much. Maybe actually, maybe I
mean,
could.
you know, people
Never
people
say
do
never.
It. Right.
Yep.
Right.
And then I think my goal this semester, I'm shooting a film in February, and I'm doing a comedy. I always feel like my films are comedic, but they're kind of like dry and satirical a little bit. But this one is like actually a comedy, so I'm excited to tackle that.
I feel like your comedy comes from a place of self-awareness. Like the
Yeah.
characters are very self-aware.
Yeah.
And in that, there's a natural form of comedy. Like when we were like, oh, I'm an idiot. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
I would like to see this comedy very much. I'd also like to see the 110 Degree Oklahoma.
Yes. Yeah.
film.
That one's not a comedy at all. Actually, no, it is. It totally is. What am I talking about? Yeah. It
Well,
is.
we'll be the judge of that.
Right. Of
Ella.
course.
But seriously, I think you kind of like, you're talking about this like featured length, and obviously that's going to be a challenge because your ideas are concise in a sense.
Yeah.
These like little worlds within the bigger world, but you also already have the ability to marry the image with the VO or with the dialogue, and maybe you just need to let that breathe and not say anything, right?
Yeah.
Because you're really good at that, just as good,
Thank
really,
you.
as the writing, and I think that's what makes the film so enjoyable. It's like, oh, what a clever way to express this sentiment visually as well as in the
Thank
writing.
you. I appreciate that.
So maybe you're closer than you think.
Okay.
So real quick, what did it mean to receive recognition from All American?
Oh my gosh, it meant everything. I literally remember that feeling so well. It was the same exact feeling when I found out I got into USC. I'm not joking. Like I was sitting in that little red chair and just like shaking, genuinely shaking. And then my name got called out and it was just like a blur. I don't remember it, but
I think you got called up like twice in a row, too.
yeah,
Which we don't like to do, but you know.
I barely made it back to my seat. Yeah. But yeah, it was just like, it was so good. Yeah, it was, I mean, I'm just so grateful for All American. I feel like I've met so many cool people through All American, just in general. And yeah, it's been an amazing experience.
Well, All American is grateful for you. It's pretty unusual to have a filmmaker with the accolades that I rattled off at the beginning with so many of them, because we really do try to spread the wealth. There's a lot of talented young filmmakers, and we want to recognize as many as we can because we know the confidence boost, and we know what that moment means to you, and we know how hard you work, and you're not alone. So to have all of that is really something, and we certainly, I hope that, and I have no doubt after this conversation, but I hope that you will continue to just do what you love and pour your heart and soul into it, and to be a good leader. Man, we need a lot more of that in this world. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the next chapter. I like to just kind of wrap things up with asking what advice you have. You know, our major audience for this is high school filmmakers and high school film teachers, you know, who are just looking to improve and looking to achieve what you've achieved. What advice do you have for that Ella Janes who's a sophomore in high school listening to this and just like, man, I want to be like her?
Yeah.
What would you say to that person?
I would say, I think journaling, which is kind of like a crazy take, but I think one of my favorite things to do, even if it's just like your notes app, I think anytime you're hit with any idea, write it down. Anytime you watch a film and you like a shot, take a photo of it. Like it's use the world around you to really like find ideas. It doesn't have to be like you're searching for it all the time, but I just think like make stories, make memories, find ideas. Like that's my, I don't know. Yeah. I think that's my biggest advice.
I think it's great advice.
Thank you.
I was watching a show last night, and there was like a sequence of images that kind of were in line with what I was saying, what you do. They just like, the character would say something, and then there'd be 2 minutes of imagery that reflected the emotional state
Yeah.
of the character. And it was like, thank you for letting me process this and providing this beautiful imagery that enhanced the entire experience.
Yeah.
And it's like, I probably should have taken a picture of it, and now I will, thanks to your
Yes.
advice.
Yes.
What's next? Any projects on the horizon? Just kind of keep doing your thing, working on the weekends?
Yeah, I have the one I shot in August is going through post-production now, so it should be hopefully done shortly. We have an entire original soundtrack, which is my first time doing that we're going to
Amazing.
release on Spotify, which is insane. And that's another USC thing. Like,
Are you a musician, or that's people you're working with?
No, it's all USC like students, and they like composed some like choral music for me. They composed like a rock song. It's got everything. And then the second one, and then the other project I'm working on is shooting in February, and it's a comedy, which kind of actually relates to All American, but it's about a young girl who goes to stay with some really cool 25-year-olds, and she's 17, and she's touring colleges, and she wants to fit in so bad. And then she makes some really terrible decisions only to come out in the end feeling, more authentic. And so I think that, that's the other one I'm working on. And those are my two projects right now.
Well, that sounds amazing. I want to see it. Please, send me all of these links. I can't wait to check it out. One final question: something on your radar, that music you're listening to, a film or a show you recently watched that you would recommend to our listeners and me, because this is one of my favorite parts.
Okay. Music. Well, I am really into Bob Dylan right now. Obviously, Timothy Chalamet killed that. But I'd say TV shows. I'm in a comedy kick right now to kind of like feed inspiration for my production, but I would say my like favorite show I'm watching right now is Broad City, which is kind of a crazy
That's
thing.
been around for a while.
Yes, yeah.
I think we know those two. We tried to get them involved in the fest, and you know what? Maybe it's time to circle back.
Maybe it's time. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Broad City, and then I watched Project X for the first time last night. Amazing movie, and loved it. Yeah.
Okay.
So those are my recommendations.
I appreciate it. Well, thank you, Ella, for an insightful glimpse into your experiences and motivations as a storyteller. Of course, I encourage all of you, I know you will after this conversation, to check out links to Ella's impressive body of work in the description. And thanks, of course, to all of you for tuning in and joining us. I remind you that this is just one of many in-depth conversations with the future of film. Go to hsfilmfest.com for more information on the All-American High School Film Festival. And please subscribe and share across all platforms to support artists like Ella and our entire community of emerging student storytellers. We will see you next time. Ella, such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Amazing.